Hello and welcome one and all to Essential Tools You Will Use in Your Life. I'm your host, Mr. Phillips, and today we will be talking about the tape measure. So what is a tape measure, you might ask? Well, a tape measure is basically a ruler that can retract into a casing holder. It is an indispensable tool for estimating quantities of materials that you'll find for any home repair or DIY project. A tape measure can be measured in many different sizes and prices. What are the oranges of this particular tool? The first patent of a spring tape measure came in 1829 by James Chesterman of Sheffield, England. I'm now going to read an excerpt from wired.com where I found my information here. Chesterman was in the business of making flat wire for the fashion industry. Dressmakers used loops of it to hold the shape of crinoline hoop skirts then in fashion. A really fluffed out layered hoop skirt could use 180 feet of wire. The inventive steelmaker had developed a heat treating process that made the flat wire stronger and thus easier to produce in continuous unbroken lengths. But changing fashions would see the crinoline market fall flat, leaving the manufacturer up to his bustle with a surplus of metal tape. Chesterman decided to put graduated marks on very long steel tapes so he could market them to surveyors as a lightweight steel band measuring chain. Lightweight or not, Chesterman's tape had a hefty price. They sold in the United States for $17, which is equivalent to $300 in today's money. That's a lot of money. But another patent for the tape measure came in 1868 by Alvin J. Fellows of New Haven, Connecticut. So here's another excerpt from the same source from Wired.com that I'm going to read. Fellows' contribution was seemingly limited. His patent application acknowledged that he fit the spiral or helical springs to wind up the tape in the usual way. But he proposed a novel method to attach the spring clip that locks the tape in any desired position so it doesn't retract until you release the clip. Again, this information came from Wired.com. So pretty much what Fellows came up with was he pretty much came up with the clip that holds the tape in place. As soon as you undo the clip, it closes up. Ah, yes, that's very interesting, Mr. Phillips. But then again, I ask, when am I ever going to use this tape measure? Well, as I stated earlier, that this is a great tool for any type of home repair or any DIY project in your household. One way I can say that I value the tape measure in my own home mainly is for measuring spaces for appliances and furniture in my house. My wife and I were looking to purchase a new refrigerator, and we need to know the dimensions of the space that the current refrigerator is in, plus also the dimensions of whatever type of refrigerator that we can make sure that it will fit in that spot. Now, our current fridge works perfectly fine, but we would just like a bigger one, and preferably one where the fridge is on top and then the freezer's on the bottom. So for the tape measure, it's best to have a good knowledge of the English and or metric systems of measurement. Again, this is why schools teach measurement. It's not to torture you. You will use this stuff in your life. You will use it. You will measure things in your household all the time, from the basic DIY projects, any type of home repair, to many other things. This past weekend, my wife and I, we dove into a DIY project where we built this farm-style computer table desk. The tape measure was a valuable tool in this process. So we had to, measure the space where we wanted it to go in our dining room. And also we had to use the tape measure to find out the measurements and or dimensions for the particular cuts we would have to make before we assembled the project. So after the first 5 minutes of the marital bickering, I questioned if our marriage would have survived this build, but it did calm down after a few minutes and we pulled through, and we're very happy with what came out in our project here. Usually when I do these DIY projects, I like to film them and put them on YouTube. This DIY project, I didn't get around to it. It was cold outside in our garage. We really just wanted to build it and get it over with and not have to worry about, setting up the camera and, making sure that the cold wouldn't affect the camera. But this DIY project would have been extremely difficult without the help and use of a tape measure. And that's all for today's episode. Thank you for joining me. Please join me next time when we discuss the adjustable wrench. See you later, alligators.